All right, let's talk about something we use every single second, but can't actually see: electricity. In this explainer, we're going to pull back the curtain on that invisible force and really figure out what's going on inside the wires that power our entire world. So let's jump right in.
I mean, it really does feel like magic, right? You flick a switch and bam, the room is flooded with light. But it's not magic at all. It's pure physics. And that one simple action, it kicks off this incredible chain reaction. By the time we're done here, you're going to know exactly how it all works.
Okay, so the very first thing we need to wrap our heads around is the idea of a circuit. And honestly, the best way to picture it is like a racetrack. For cars to race, the track has to be a complete loop, right? Unbroken. If there's a gap anywhere, well, the race is off. Electricity is exactly the same. It absolutely needs that continuous, closed path to do its thing. So, the big question is, how do we even begin to understand something we can't see? Well, we use an analogy. And lucky for us, the perfect one for electricity is something we're all familiar with: water flowing through pipes. And check this out. It lines up almost perfectly. The wires, those are our pipes. The electric charge flowing through them, that's the water. And the battery, what does that do? It's the pump. It gives everything the push it needs to get moving. This simple comparison, this is going to be our roadmap for understanding everything else. So let's dive into this analogy, starting with the most basic part: the water. What is actually moving through those pipes? Well, in the world of electricity, we call that movement current. And it's a really simple but super powerful idea. You know how a river's current is all about how much water is flowing past a tree on the bank every second? Electric current is the exact same thing, just for electricity. It's a measure of how much electric charge is zipping through a wire in that same 1-second window. And of course, we have a special name for this measurement. It's called the amp, or you'll usually just hear it called an amp. So when you hear someone say 1 amp, what they really mean is that 1 coulomb of charge, which, by the way, is just a fancy way of saying a huge number of electrons, is flying past a single point in that wire every single second. It's all about the rate of flow. Okay, let's make this real. Imagine you've got a light bulb and it's drawing 0.5 amp of current, and you leave it on for 10 minutes. First thing, we got to convert that to seconds, right? So 10 minutes is 600 seconds. Now, to find out the total amount of charge that moved, we just multiply the flow rate, the current, by the time. So 0.5 amps times 600 seconds, and that gives us 300 coulombs. That number tells us the total amount of electrical water that actually passed through that bulb to make it shine. All right, so we've got the flow down, we understand current. But what makes it flow in the first place? Think about it. Water in a pipe doesn't just decide to start moving. It needs a push, right? And that simple question brings us to the next crucial piece of our analogy. This quote really nails it. Charges do not flow in a copper wire by themselves, just as water in a perfectly horizontal tube does not flow. I mean, that's it right there. Picture that horizontal pipe full of water. It's just sitting there. You need something like a pump or maybe a hill to create pressure and get it moving. And guess what? It's the exact same for electricity. So this electric pressure has a fancy technical name. It's called potential difference. But let's be real, we all know it by its much simpler name, voltage. That's a battery's whole job. It exists to create that voltage, to give all those little charges the push they need to start their journey around the circuit. Voltage is the why behind the flow. And naturally, we measure this electrical push in units called volts. Now, the technical definition says 1 volt is how much work it takes to move 1 coulomb of charge. But here's what you really need to remember. Voltage is all about how much energy each little packet of charge is carrying. So higher voltage simply means more powerful, more energetic charges. Let's see how that works with another quick example. Say you have a standard 12-volt car battery and it moves 2 coulombs of charge. How much work did it actually do? It's super simple. We just multiply them. 12 volts times 2 coulombs equals 24 joules of work or energy. See? It's a direct connection. More volts, more push, more energy. Okay, so up until now, we've been talking about this with pictures of light bulbs and batteries. But you can imagine if you have a really complex circuit, like inside your phone, that would get incredibly messy fast. That's why engineers came up with a kind of universal shorthand for drawing circuits, the schematic diagram. Let's look at some of the basic symbols you'll see. An electric cell,
Just one is shown with a long line and a short line. A battery? That's just a bunch of those cells stacked together. A switch is literally a break in the line, when it's open anyway. And an electric bulb is often drawn as a circle with a little loop inside. It's a really simple, clean way to draw a map of an electrical circuit.
And here, you can see how it all comes together. This is a full schematic. You've got your battery symbol, the wires are just straight lines, and you can see the other components represented by their symbols. It creates this really clean, logical map that anyone, anywhere in the world who understands the language, can read.
So great, we now have a language to draw circuits. But how do we actually measure what's going on inside them? How do we put a number on the flow and the push? Well, for that, you need the right tools. And, just as importantly, you need to know exactly how to use them.
Let's tackle current the flow first. And let's go right back to our trusty water analogy. If you wanted to measure how much water is flowing through a pipe, what would you do? You'd have to stick your measuring device right into the pipe, directly in the path of the water, right? It's the exact same idea for electricity.
The tool we use for this is called an ammeter. And just like that water meter, to use it, you literally have to break open the circuit and place the ammeter right in line with everything else. This method is called connecting in series. You're making it part of the series of components. That way, all the current is forced to flow through the meter so it can be measured. Okay, so what about voltage, the push, the pressure? Again, think about water. You wouldn't measure water pressure by putting a meter inside the flow. That doesn't make sense. Instead, you'd measure the difference in pressure between two separate points, like what's the pressure at the top of a hill versus the bottom of the hill. And that is precisely how a voltmeter works. You connect it in parallel. That just means you reach across a component, touching the circuit at two different points, one on each side. It's measuring the pressure difference from one side to the other, all without ever interrupting the main flow of current. And this right here, this is probably one of the most important differences to lock in. The ammeter measures the flow, so it has to go in the path. That's series. The voltmeter measures the push, so it goes across the path. That's parallel. This is a totally fundamental concept in all of electronics. You gotta know this.
Okay, so let's do a super quick recap. An electric circuit has to be a closed loop. The rate of flow of the charge, that's the current, and we measure it in amps. The pressure, or the push that makes the charge move, that's the voltage, measured in volts. And to measure them, ammeters go in series, voltmeters go in parallel. Got it? Good.
And that leaves us with one final question to chew on. We've talked about the flow, and we've talked about the push. But what if our water pipe suddenly got a lot narrower? It would be much harder for the water to get through, right? Well, that narrowing of the pipe has an electrical equivalent. So if voltage provides the push, what do you think something called resistance does to the flow? That's a little food for thought. Thanks for joining me.